Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you a bit of an update of the seeds that we started last week. I'm also going to show you how I pot up my micro soil blocks into the bigger blocks that we made last week together. And I'm going to show you my first attempt at seed snails and talk about why I am trying that out this year. So come along and we will do some fun seed starting stuff together. All right, we're gonna start with a little update on the seeds that we sowed last week. These are the leeks from seed I saved from my garden last year. And we did a germination test on these last week and none of them came up. So this is really exciting to see how much germination we had there. I planted literally every seed I had of that. So I have a lot of leeks now. Here are the updates on some of the teeny tiny flowers that I've started that these micro soil blocks are really good for. So I just showed my petunias. Those are all, actually I think all of these are from seed I saved. So there's petunias. These are a snapdragon mix. And then I also have bronze sonnet snapdragons. And I saved all those seeds myself. And in the middle you can see I have sown celeriac and celery, but those seeds haven't come up yet, and that's pretty usual. They can take a long time to germinate. And the rest of this is all leeks. So there's a variety on the right there that was newer seed and has germinated quite a bit quicker than the other ones here, but they're coming. And this is a tray of mostly onions. But I also have some rosemary and thyme in here. And I don't know if you can really see, but there are little onions starting to pop up all along here, but these have been the slowest variety to germinate. These are my little tiny cute thyme seedlings. They're so small. And then there's a couple little rosemary behind them that are just starting to poke up. And then, like I said, the rest of this is onions. And some of these onions are from seed that I saved myself, but some of them are not. And the one that's having kind of a bit of a struggle with the germination is not my seed, so that's nice. And now we're gonna pot up some onions into our soil blocks that we made. These onions are ready to go. And this is so quick and so easy. Not gonna take us very long. Look at how cute. Blurry and cute. So all we're gonna do is just plop that in there and push it down to make sure that the root is making contact with the bigger soil block. And move on to the next one. And we're just gonna do that for our whole tray. And I know in my last video, I talked about not really being sure what my plan was gonna be with my onions. And initially I thought I might do 1 onion per soil block, as you can see that I'm doing here in these 1.5 inch cube soil blocks. But these 2 trays of onions that I'm gonna fill today with you, this is less than 100 onions. And I wanna start 600 onions and 200 leeks or something like that this year. And if I did them all in individual soil blocks, that would take up literally all of the space that I have underneath my grow lights. And I just can't justify doing that. So I have seen lots of people online doing what are called seed snails. And I decided to try that out for my onions and leeks this year because it will take up substantially less room under my light. So here I go. This is my very first seed snail that I'm attempting, and I will tell you it's not the nicest one I've made. But what I'm doing here is I have taken a bag that I saved from last year from purchased compost. So it's just a plastic bag that your compost comes in to amend your garden with. I kept that thinking I might do this year. And I just cut it into strips. They're about 4 to 6 inches wide, and the width of the bag, which I would say is maybe like 18 inches, maybe closer to 2 feet, something like that. And I am just packing my seed starting mix into here. I don't actually use seed starting mix, sorry. This is potting mix with some amendments. And I'm just packing that in nice and tight and trying to roll it up as evenly as possible, but I am learning it takes a bit of practice like anything. And these first ones were not super even, but that's okay. They will do the job just fine. And so I have seen people use rubber bands to secure these. I don't have a bunch of rubber bands laying around, so I'm just going to use painting tape. So I'm just trying to clean a little bit of this soil off of the plastic so that tape will hopefully stick. So far it's been doing a pretty good job, and this is also going to become my label when I plant these up. So there it is. My first little cutie seed snail. And I'm really liking this so far. So far I've only tried it with my leeks and onions like I'm going to show you today. But I have about, I think, 400 leeks in, I think, 6 snails. And they are taking up less room than I would say half of one of those trays of the onions in this soil blocks. So I think this is going to be a really good solution for my onions. And when it comes time to pot these up, I haven't gotten to this stage yet, but when these onions and leeks are looking like they're needing a bit more space, what I will do is just unroll the snails, add some more soil, and roll them back up. And so they'll take up a little bit more space at that point in time. But again, a big difference from the soil blocks if I'm trying to plant 1 onion per soil block. I think this is going to be a much better solution. I am going to be transplanting into these seed snails today. So I'm going to show you how I do that. But this is not a how-to. I have never used these before. This is not a recommendation. I've just seen a lot of people online use them and highly recommend them. So I wanted to try it out. So I think I'm going to start with these ones that had the best germination and are looking the most ready to go. These are a variety called Giant Musselburgh leeks. I've never grown them before. So start with labeling. So these were started on February 22nd, and today is March 4th that I am potting these up. I had to take a little bit of soil out. Generally, I think it's more advisable to probably just sow your seeds directly into your seed snails, but I hadn't come up with this idea when I sowed these seeds, so today we are transplanting the leeks. So I took a little bit of soil out so that those seed blocks would fit in there. Sorry, soil blocks would fit in there. And so cute. And then any of the soil blocks that wouldn't fit in there, I just kind of crumbled those soil blocks gently and then took the little seedling and placed it in between those initial soil blocks, and I'm just going to repeat that process for all of these seed snails today. I know I had initially said that I was wanting to do the soil blocks, like 1 onion per soil block, to make transplanting easier. Everyone that I have seen talking about the seed snails online says that the transplanting is so much easier than conventional seed starting methods. So here's hoping that this is going to be a good solution in that regard as well. A question that I get a lot anytime I show anything with soil blocks is, how do you move them around if you need to? And so I thought I would just take a second and show you how I do it. I use 2 putty knives and just very carefully slide them from one spot to another. These hold together a lot better than I expected them to. They're kind of like a little brownie, so you can just individually pick one up as you saw me do when I was transplanting my onions. So they're a lot sturdier than people think, and it's a lot easier than I think a lot of people assume to move them if you need to. So I just moved my little seedlings to my tray of other little seedlings. Just sitting here on a blustery day with a couple of snoring dogs editing this video, and I realized that I forgot to say goodbye to you guys. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you next time.